Welcome to the FI Investors Podcast, helping you achieve financial independence through real estate investing, one episode at a time. We talk about personal finance, mindset, and real estate investing. Whether you're a rookie or looking to scale your portfolio, we're here to provide you with the tactics and actionable steps to achieve your goals. Here are your hosts, Diego Corzo and Ward Mahoney.
What is up, Ward? Welcome to another FFF FI Investors Financially Free Fridays FI Investors Podcast. How's it going?
What's up, Diego? Good to be here. Good to be back. It feels great to be back in the studio.
Yes.
We had a fun week away in Puerto Rico. Productive. Lots of travel coming up, man. It feels back and stoked to be here again with you.
Yes. And I know that the next couple of weeks are gonna be busy. You're gonna be at the GoBundance event, volunteering, working on that. So it's awesome. And today we have two topics that we're gonna talk about. One of them is just a quick update on the news that now conventional loans, Fannie Mae is gonna be accepting 5% down payment on multifamily.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about that. And also we're going to be sharing the 5 or 6 different questions that I learned that one should ask a sponsor when investing in a syndication or maybe in an investment, something that once I share these questions that you think that they will be valuable when investing with a partner and or a sponsor for a syndication, as I mentioned earlier.
I love it.
So yeah, we will get started with that. So, number one, I believe that it is starting November 14th or November 18th of this year, right? Mid-November. There's gonna be the opportunity to buy a duplex, triplex, or quadplex using 5% down, where before the only option would be an FHA loan, right? And I know that you bought a house hack 2021?
Yeah.
2021. You bought it putting 3.5% down with an FHA loan.
Correct.
Right? And you were giving me an example of now that somebody can qualify for 5% down. Tell me about that example of being able to
Yeah,
I wanted to. Yeah.
So basically, in order to buy a quadplex, you had to have an FHA. You had to use an FHA loan. Now, with the new rules, you can do it twice. And what that means is you can go in, so I could buy my triplex with the FHA, 3.5% down. And then a year later, what I'd have to do if I wanted to go buy another tri or quadplex, I'd have to refinance out of my FHA and then go use that FHA again or a VA loan or whatever is accessible to you. But now with this new rule, what I can do is I can go and buy that triplex using FHA. A year later, if interest rates are high and I don't have the option to refi, I don't have to. I can go in with another 5% conventional loan for a triplex or quadplex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is the benefit of using these types of loans, because I knew that what would be the best way to do it, right? But by you sharing that example, I was like, this is one of the best ways to multiply or to scale, right? Because you can imagine in 1 year, in 2024, let's say, you buy a quadplex, like you mentioned, buying it, or even at the end of 2023, buying a quadplex with an FHA loan, and then at the end of 2024, buying a quadplex with a conventional loan, 5% down. Now you have 8 doors in a matter of a year to maybe a year and a half. Right, and that definitely puts you in a better position for achieving financial independence. Where now you're still house hacking, so you have to live in the property, but now you have multiple doors.
Right.
You have 7 extra doors.
Right. And one limitation that you and I have, we just discussed, was that with FHA, and this is huge, all rookies should look into this, or anyone house hacking, regardless if you're a rookie. If you're looking at something between 3 and 4 units or even a duplex, what they'll do is they'll take your gross income, your gross rents, they'll take 75% of that, not including the owner-occupied unit, and they'll add it back to your earned income, which means that your pre-approval amount will become much greater.
Exactly.
Giving you more buying power. However, in this new 5% conventional loan product that's now coming out, they will not do that. So your income still needs to remain high. And then you need to make sure, and this is a question for you actually, for example, in my case, right, if I were to do this and go back, I need to show that my former primary residence no longer reflects poorly onto my DTI. So what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so the best way, well, once you move out, then you're going to be getting a lot more cash flow, right, from that side.
Right.
So I know you have a triplex. So imagine
Yep.
You were getting $1,500 per door,
Yep.
but you living in one of them.
Right.
Well, now you have a gross of $1,500 plus $1,500. That is $4,500.
Right.
You have a gross of that. Then the lender will take 75% of that, and that will hopefully remove that whole that will eliminate what your mortgage payment would be.
Yes.
So technically, then that will remove that mortgage payment. It will be a flush, and it wouldn't count towards your DTI from that perspective. I mean, it's still part of
Yep.
it, but that income, and between the income and the expense, it equals zero,
Right.
Or maybe it even benefits you more, but at least you have that opportunity, and then you can just buy property number 2.
So follow-up question to that though. How many bank statements do you need? So how many months of showing that income do you need for a bank? Obviously it'll differ from bank to bank, but how many bank statements do you need for a bank to actually honor that?
So the cool part about that is that all you need will be the leases. You don't even need the bank statements on once you move out from the first property, because as long as you have the lease from, let's say, the 3 units, 2 units are already making you money. You have those leases too. You have it in the you can show the income that's coming in from the bank account.
Yep.
Now it's just a matter of you showing that you have a new lease on the property that you were living in, and then being able to show that as future income. They will count that, and then you can buy property number 2.
Boom.
Yeah. So that's the benefit of something. That was a really good question.
Yeah.
Especially because I know that people are, as they're listening to this, they're thinking through, okay, but what happens when this happens? What about this? The benefit as one thing that you mentioned, right? Because everybody has the opportunity to get one FHA loan. This gives them the opportunity to not having to refinance out and doing it again. So this is like really, really good. So that is what's new. Remember that before, if you wanted to buy, even if you were living in the property, between, like, if it was a quadplex, like a triplex and quadplex, you needed 25% down.
Yep.
And a duplex was 15% down.
If it was not an FHA loan.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But now everything is going to be, everything will be the 5% down.
And actually following up on that, so when I was going after my triplex and was trying to close on it, I initially wanted to do 5% conventional. And if anyone doesn't know, I think we should review this too. Why would someone, especially a house hacker, want to go with conventional over FHA? And there's a few reasons. Number one is that they're more lenient on what they'll allow. For example, FHA, when I was going through my first FHA property that I had purchased, I've done 2 or 3 now, I've done 2. I had chipping paint, and they would not close. But if I had a 5% conventional, they would still push it through.
Exactly.
So that's huge. But back to my initial question. If you were, say you're 19 to 21 years old, recently out of college, you have a job, you're making between $60,000 and $80,000 a year. With that, what would you be acquiring, and how would you finance those properties within that 2 year time frame to maximize both cash flow and potential just net worth opportunity?
Yes, and this is good for anybody that could be in their early 20s or even mid 20s, right? Because I bought my property and you bought your house back when you were like 24, 25.
I think I was 23.
23.
I was middle of 23.
Yeah, and then I bought my house back at 24.
That was your first? I thought you were acquiring properties way before 24, right?
A little bit, yes. But I share more, like, my house hack was the one that put me on the map of like, holy crap,
Equity.
I'm living for free.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I would say that what I would recommend is starting with an FHA loan,
Okay.
buying a duplex, triplex, or quadplex. Ideally, a quadplex, right? To answer your question.
Okay.
Getting an FHA loan because, of course, as you're starting out, you may not be making as much once you're young, right?
Yep.
But maybe in year 1 or year 1.5, like a year and a half later, I would say use the conventional loan, 5% down, to buy another multifamily.
Yep.
Now, if you're able to qualify for a VA loan, right? And I think that we were talking with somebody that's part of Rookie that has a VA loan.
Yep.
I would use VA loan on year 1, FHA loan on year 2, 2.5, and conventional loan on year 3.
That is a great plan.
Yes.
I love that.
And you can get 12 units.
Yeah.
With one with 0 money down,
Yep.
VA loan, one with 3.5% down, and the conventional loan 5%. It's like freaking awesome.
It's amazing. That's going to set you up to be a millionaire with minimal amount of cash.
Exactly.
If you do that before you're 25, and if you're in like a B or A level market, you're going to be in a very good.
Yeah.
Even if it's cash flowing.
Even if you do that before 30, like just being 12 units before 30, you will be in a very good position.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then after that, what I would do is I would maybe like get like once, if you want to be done with multifamily like that, I would say get into a home that maybe you can rehab it.
Yep.
And that while you're living in the property, rehab it so you can force appreciation, but still getting in it with 3 to 5% down conventional.
Ooh.
And then later either sell it or keep it as a rental, maybe do a rehab. I would even say if you're going to be forcing the appreciation on that one, I would say get a line of credit.
Okay.
And then use that line of credit to buy property number 4. Now we're at property number 5. But that's how you scale the portfolio.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. We should do this on a webinar. Like
give
this example, but breaking it down the numbers.
Yeah. How to become a millionaire before 30.
There you go.
You just got it.
Yes.
So follow-up question to that though. So that is really interesting. So another thing that you had mentioned is the rehab, right? I know with FHA, it's super hard to get through, but you can do a 203K loan. Basically what that means is that if you do find a house that is FHA approved, and it does have peeling paint, what you can actually do to fix that issue is you can go back to the bank and say, hey, not only do I want to acquire the property, but I'm also going to look for a 203K loan, which will then finance the repairs that need to be done to the property.
Yes.
However, and I don't know the answer to this, so I'm asking you.
Oh, man.
With that 5% conventional,
yes. No.
There's nothing.
No.
There's nothing like that.
No. What you can probably ask is the seller to pay. You can ask the seller to pay some of the repairs. I was actually talking to Tiago about this because one thing that you can do is you can, depending on the repairs, there's usually a maximum of seller credits that one can get.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that they cannot pay in advance that rehab. So what they can do is you can get a quote, an estimate of the rehab that you want to do. And you can tell the seller, Mr. Seller, at closing, these are the repairs that I'm going to do on the property that I need to do before I buy this, or like so that I can buy this.
Yep.
That money is going to stay at the title company in escrow.
Yep.
And then from there, the title company can pay that company, the rehab company, but it's going to be, but it doesn't count towards your credits at closing.
Gotcha.
So this allows the seller to basically pay for more things without you having to have it go towards your closing cost.
Gotcha. Oh, that's really good. And the other thing that you can do too, I'm just thinking out loud here, or I guess before I even say that, what are the limitations going 5% down, owner occupied with a conventional loan? Like how dilapidated can that house be? Can it be just like no walls, just studs?
No, it needs to be livable because it's primary too. It's not just an investment property. So it needs to be livable. More than likely we'll need to have like AC no matter what, the like all of the plumbing, stove, like all of those things. It does need to have that. The one thing though that makes it more appealing as a loan is that it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Because the FHA has the PMI.
Sucks.
And then the PMI, not only does it have the PMI, but it doesn't go away, right? Where with a conventional loan, it will go away after a certain time. But just know that the PMI might be a little bit higher on a conventional, but it will go away. You can also negotiate for the seller to pay for the PMI at closing. That's something that not many people do or know. And then the one thing is that because there's no funding fee as you have one on the FHA loan, conventional is a little bit cheaper to get.
Right.
You do need a good credit score, like 740 and above.
Okay.
That would be ideal.
That's doable.
Yeah, because with an FHA, you can go down up to like 580 or something.
Yeah.
So
That's
gives
great.
you options.
Cool. So I feel like this makes a lot of sense. So then, right, I mean, like you said, if you're able to acquire 12 units within a 3 to 5 year time span, yes, you're going to be moving. But if you're doing that with such low money down, and again, this is assuming that these deals are cash flowing, that is the most important thing. You're going to be able to pull out a portfolio line of credit, whatever, and really go into a different asset class where you may find more challenging at that point. So I love that. I love that.
Exactly. So for anybody that does want to, that may have questions, they can reach out to us, to you on Instagram, to me on Instagram. They can send us an email to info@thefiinvestors.com so that we can answer any of your questions on the loan side or on how to scale your portfolio, because in this podcast we basically gave them, like in this episode, we just gave them things of how one can do, especially starting out. And shoot, I know that I helped some people that were in their early 30s that wanted to, like, they had in their mind, like, okay, I'm 30 years old or I'm turning 30, but I want to achieve financial independence by 35.
Right.
How do I do it? You do it the same way as I just described.
Same thing.
Taking advantage of these low down programs, and know that it's not like, be like, yeah, but I don't want to live in a duplex or a quadplex right now. It's like, well, there's a quote that says, if you can do what most people don't, if you can do for 2 years what most people don't want to do, you can live for the rest of your life like most people don't.
There you go.
Right? And I feel like this is definitely some kind of sacrifice for your future so that you can achieve financial independence.
100%.
And
So I got one more question here for you too, because we've touched on rookies.
Yeah.
But I also want to touch on people that may be a little bit more in their journey, right? Say you've got 4 properties, an Airbnb, say you have like 1 or 2 LTRs. You've dabbled in the seller financing world. You've done your conventionals. You've done your FHAs. What would you do next, right? 7 doors, say 3 or 4 properties. What would you do next?
For
just in general.
Just in general?
Would you go after seller financing? Would you be leveraging the 5% down conventional? Would you be going after more burrs? What would you be doing?
So right now, I would be, if I have my 7, 8 doors, I would totally look into this based on where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right? I would still look at this 5% option.
Yeah.
Just as a way to be like, okay, can I do this for a year or 2?
Yeah.
Only because you're going to be able to get a house with 5% down, which is like,
so good.
I mean, not just a house, a quadplex. So good. Right? And that can help you so much in the future.
Right.
So it's just a matter of you being able to look at that and seeing, does this fit right now with where you want to be?
Right.
If not, what I would recommend too is analyze your portfolio and see if you're maximizing the cash flow of those 7 to 8 properties. That will be the first thing I do. Because maybe there might be an opportunity where be like, look, this is a long-term rental, but it might fit better to do a midterm rental. And all you need to do is you just need to invest $8,000 or something and furnish the whole place, but now you're doubling your money. Or even doing some sort of like co-living too with pad splits. And pad splits is actually coming to Austin soon. So for anybody that has questions on that, definitely reach out to us. But that allows you to maximize the cash flow. So that would be 100%. Number 1. And then number 2, I would say I would still if your goal is to leave your job, cash flow is going to be much more important than just the appreciation in the future. Because right now, with the way that how this market is going, unless you're doing some sort of like seller financing where you can get a loan under 5% down through sub 2 or seller financing, the cash flow is minimal because of how interest rates are so high right now.
Yep.
But if the numbers make sense, I would say totally
go for it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So
cool.
So yeah, and I know that we're going to talk about another topic, but what I think is we should move that topic to another FFF.
I love it.
Just because we went so deep into this one, which I think is super valuable for people that are looking to get started, but also that are looking to scale.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. Well, this was a fun FFF, and we'll see you on the next one.
Perfect. Take care, Ward.
Thank you for listening to the FI Investors Podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And share this with a fellow real estate investor who you think would find value in what we do. Until next time.